this word vaccine hesitancy is stigmatized, which should not have been stigmatized. I mean, a new vaccine, as a scientist also, one, I would be hesitant. I would like to weigh the risk benefit. So any hesitation or any questioning was stigmatized as vaccine hesitancy. So this, I think, Mark, whether why the WHO has coined this term vaccine hesitancy, because a scientist should always be asking questions. So any question on the vaccine was labeled as vaccine hesitancy, which I think is again counterproductive. I mean, it's not proper.
I think you're absolutely right. We had a problem even in my country where our prime minister made comments saying, he would almost throw like a Hillary Clinton-esque comment saying that people who didn't want to take the vaccines or were anti-vaccine or anti-approach to this were deplorables. And those are the kinds of things that really added some negativity to this, and for all intents and purposes help those freedom convoys and the massive protests be appealing. And so you're absolutely correct. Again, I think that in terms of best practices, there ought to be a large measure of maybe we'll call it media training for WHO and public health agencies, so they didn't make those kinds of comments.
Black and white. I mean, these things are not black and white. So they are, I mean, and now regarding vaccine as on today, I mean, the pandemic is 3 years old. Even in USA, 80% people have been exposed to the natural infection. And vaccine protection doesn't last more than few months. So it's going to be very difficult to evaluate any vaccine as on today, because, I mean, there is people who have recovered from natural infection also have got protection, those who are getting vaccine. So there is no way we can evaluate anything today. And as you said, Mark also said that subsequently deaths and hospitalizations were less because the vulnerable have already died earlier in the earlier waves. So those who have survived are with the large swaths of the population are having natural infection. So the pitch has changed, like in cricket. I think Canada, there are not much cricket there, but South Africa and UK, the pitch in the 5th day of the test match, the pitch is not so responsive. So that way, I think we cannot, I mean, the so many the situations are not same, the pitch is not same, so we cannot evaluate the vaccine today as it is. If you see relative risk is something, if you do the attributable risk, it will just come almost zero. If you know, nothing can be tested, no drug can be tested, no vaccine can be tested as on today.